Chapter 1: The Origin of Christmas. The story of Christmas begins many centuries before the birth of Jesus, in an ancient world full of political tensions, spiritual hopes, and intertwined cultures. To understand why the 25th of December became so important, we must travel back to the 1st century BC, when the Roman Empire dominated much of the known world. At that time, Judea was a region under Roman rule since 37 BC, when Herod the Great was appointed king by the decision of the Roman Senate. Herod ruled with a firm hand and sought to please both Rome and the local leaders, but his reign was marked by conflict and anxiety among the population, who awaited the arrival of a Messiah promised in the ancient prophecies of the people of Israel. In this environment, the tradition that would later become the celebration of Christmas was born. The Gospels place the birth of Jesus in the last years of Herod's reign, which puts the event between the years 7 and 4 BC. The story begins when Caesar Augustus decreed a census to count all the inhabitants of the empire. This census required each family to travel to the city of their ancestors, which led Joseph and Mary from Nazareth to Bethlehem, a small village that had existed since the time of King David. According to the accounts, Mary was pregnant by divine intervention, and Joseph, though confused at first, accepted the mission after receiving a revelation in a dream. The journey from Nazareth to Bethlehem covered more than 120 kilometers and could take several days. It was winter, and the cold weather made the journey more difficult, but the couple moved forward with determination. Bethlehem was full of travelers who had also arrived for the census, and so there was no lodging available. For this reason, Joseph and Mary found refuge in a nearby stable, a humble place where, according to tradition, Jesus was born on the night that would later be remembered throughout the world. The birth of Jesus did not go unnoticed. The Gospels narrate that in the hills of Bethlehem, shepherds were tending their flocks when an intense light illuminated the sky. A heavenly messenger announced the arrival of the Savior and told them they would find him wrapped in blankets and lying in a manger. The shepherds went immediately and became the first witnesses of that event that would be celebrated centuries later as Christmas. Later, on dates that are not clearly established, wise men from the east followed a star that they interpreted as a sign of the birth of a new king. These travelers, known as the Magi, arrived in Jerusalem around the year 4 BC and asked about the child who had been born to be king of the Jews. Herod, alarmed by the news, ordered an investigation into the exact place of birth. The Magi arrived in Bethlehem, offered gifts, and were warned not to return to Herod, as they understood he had malicious intentions. For the following centuries, the exact date of Jesus' birth was not known for certain. It was not until the year 336 AD that the Church of Rome established December 25th as the official celebration of Christmas. This date coincided with ancient Roman festivals of the winter solstice, especially the Feast of the Unconquered Sun, which made it easier for the new Christian celebration to be integrated into the popular calendar. Thus began the story of a festivity that, over time, expanded across continents, cultures, and generations. Christmas was transformed into a symbol of faith, hope, and unity, but its origin remains rooted in those cold days of the 1st century, when a humble birth in Bethlehem changed the history of the world forever.